Are we good to start with or?
Yes, Sunitha. Yes, I'll just give a small intro and we'll begin.
Okay, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. With a bundle of joy, I welcome all of you to a whole new episode of Featurepreneur Presence Live AMA. Today, amidst us, we have a Sunitha Radhakrishnan, who is presently a machine learning consultant at Machine Learning Reply, Munich, Bavaria, Germany. She pursued a bachelor's degree in electronics and instrumentation engineering from Anna University, India, and a master's degree in automation and industrial IT from Cologne University of Applied Science. Sunitha, we are extremely delighted to have you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the great introduction. And yeah, I feel glad to be part of this gathering to audience everyone here, or to address the future engineers, I can say.
Very sweet of you. The pleasure is indeed ours. So let me begin by asking you about your experience as a machine learning consultant. What exactly is the role of a machine learning consultant? Can you throw some light on that?
So yeah, for sure. So according to me, I started my career, with respect to data science and machine learning, say 2 years back. So that's when I did most of my machine learning and data science in my master's degree. From there on, you like it's very clear that machine learning and data science is the boom of the industry now. I know there are a lot of people who are still waiting to get an opportunity, or to get their hands on and get the experience and get the learning in the machine learning. So I can also say that, like, for the next 5-6 years, there's a lot of scope towards machine learning. Still the industry is a big boom currently. So it's worth that everybody comes to know in this machine learning and data science, and it's good to get along with this domain in the current scenario.
Yes, you very rightly said. It is right that machine learning and data science is presently the boom of the industry. So we would like to know more about it. We noticed that you have done your master thesis on the same as well. So can you describe to us about your master thesis?
Okay, sure. So let me begin with my master's degree. So that's when so in the first semester, though my course is related to automation and IT, there were a lot more concentration on data science part. So exactly as I mentioned in my second semester, where I did a lot of case studies in machine learning and data science, and then there were a lot of mini projects that was given to us. One was the group project and one was an independent project, and that's when I really got to learn by myself, and lot more in the field of machine learning, in feature engineering, and all the bits and pieces of machine learning. After that, I really developed my interest towards this. I was really like I really thought, like, no more of I was previously a Linux administrator, but I was like, I wanted to move more towards data science and machine learning, because it really grabbed my interest. So after that, I decided that let me do a full thesis, like a 6 months dedication. You
All
need to
right.
for me in my master's degree, it was a 4 months dedication. And then for me to gain then you do a research work. It's more, you do it in the industry. So I wanted to get into an industry, and then do my master thesis. So that's when I started looking upon, and I did my master thesis in Bayer. So I think you might be knowing about Bayer. Bayer is kind of a huge industry, where it's focused on healthcare, pharmaceuticals, and crop science. So in that, I was under the pharmaceuticals division, and I was applied mathematics intern in Bayer. So I did a 4 months of internship in Bayer, where I did a lot of data engineering, and then I gradually moved to do my thesis in same Bayer for next 4 months. So it was an 8-month experience for me in Bayer, and my thesis was more focused on feature engineering. So the thesis was like more of automatic extraction of features and selection by doing, with the batch process data, because my industry deals with the process, with all the pharmaceutical process. It's a process industry behind. So I was given a really huge data set, where it's really, it's really worth, and it's really like you get more curious when you given data set, such big data set, and then you want to get your hands dirty on it. So the 8 months was actually not enough for me. I wish I was doing a little more because when you're at the end, you feel like, wow, we've done a great job, and you want to do more. So 8 months, I was just focusing on this, and the first 4 months was intern was with data engineering regarding to, pre-process the data and do all the batch process data mapping with time series and everything. And then I moved to modeling part. So it was a prediction of a product quality, because you say, for example, it's a production data. You have this, to be in simple words, you have a tablet. So take paracetamol. So Bayer is producing millions of paracetamol. So I just extracted 1 year of data, and then I built the prediction of product quality with all the feature engineering part behind, and then I came up with this thesis as an 8 month work.
All right, all right. I was really getting inspired the way you walked us through the entire your career path of yours and the entire journey of yours, and you spoke about your work at Bayers. It's really inspiring how we could be a part of the healthcare and we could incorporate IT into that. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. And speaking of your career path, you started off your career at Infosys as a system engineer. So we would love to know about the work culture at Infosys and what are the different projects you worked on at Infosys in India?
Okay. So, well, about Infosys, as you all know, as you were all part of an Anna University, it was also a campus placement for me. It was nothing great that I went into Infosys. It was a campus placement, and I was placed in two companies where I chose Infosys. So I started all my IT because, as you mentioned, my bachelor's was in E&I. And E&I has no connection with so much of into IT except for the very basic computer science part. So that's where I begin into IT at my Infosys. And the Mysore, you all would have heard, if it's Infosys, it's nothing other than the Mysore training centers. So the Mysore training was like, you, irrespective of your domain, you can be a mechanical engineer, you can be an electronics engineer, you can be an IT engineer. You go to Mysore, you go to Infosys, you get your hands from scratch in IT. So that's when I really developed interest, and I really came to do a lot of coding there with Python and with other SQL and other stuffs. And then Mysore training gave me a lot of good exposure and very good learning about the current systems engineering role. And so it is an intensive 6 months training. And so the next 3 months you will be put into a domain. So I was chosen I was automatically put into a domain of IMS is infrastructure management services, so which you deal with Linux servers, Unix Linux servers. So I was put into this domain, and my path from there was totally shifted. From Mysore, I went to Hyderabad, and Hyderabad was my first project. So first project was a client from USA, and the client was a banking company, a capital group of companies, which is an American bank. So in the USA, and my client was CGC, and in Hyderabad, I was for a year working with this project. So the main role of this project is that I was a Unix system administrator, which is nothing but a support project. To be in simple words, a support project. So support project is nothing but you get incidents, you get tickets, there will be Jira tickets, there will be Confluence, there will be a lot more tools that they use inside, and it will be solving tickets, and you will have monitoring this. You will have to do monitoring of the servers, you do a server patching, you do a server decommissioning. Everything comes under this Unix system administrator umbrella. So these were my day-to-day activities in Infosys, and I was like in regular touch with client in USA. I was put into shifts. I was like shifting 24 bus. It's a 24/7 project. So in a week, 5 days, you will work in any shift, morning, afternoon, or night shift. But we have a schedule. So from there on, I learned a lot of stuffs because that was my start. For a start, it is really good to be in a support project because you do the stuffs again and you'll do a stuff more of a repetition, but you get used to it. And then you see different scenarios. So, but the same stuff in a different scenario. So that's when you get to learn a lot of stuff. So for me personally, I learned a lot of stuff there. And after one point, I was like really bored of doing the same stuff, and I felt there's no much of learning after one stage. And also to be on my comfort zone, I was enough of Hyderabad and stuffs, and I wanted to move back to my Chennai. So I wanted to shift in my project, and I asked my manager for a shift, and I took the call. And I was lucky enough to get into another project where it's a development project. So it was a big leap from support to development. And development project was in Chennai Infosys, and there I was a part of Walmart. I'm pretty sure all must be knowing Walmart because Walmart is a big USA departmental stores. So
Yeah.
Walmart, I was supporting for Walmart, and that was a development project where where the main project was migration. So we were migrating Unix servers to Linux. So that was also a very big team, but mine was a small part. And then I was there for another one year, and they were most of migrate testing the applications, services, the database and all in the Unix test server. And then you do a development server, and then you migrate to the production environment. I was also part of a production environment, and I have regular meetings with the client. I got to interact with a lot of people, and there was a good lot learning. And that's when my 2 years of Infosys was more concentrated on Linux and C, C++, like that. So this was my overall high level of work at Infosys, I can say.
Yeah, yes, like I said, we have a lot of final year students, in our community. So, this piece of information that you very elaborately shared with us is very vital for all of them because all of us are in a state, a very perplexed state of what is actually happening in the IT industry and all that. Thank
Mhm.
you so much for that edifying, description. Before we move on, let me take you a little off track and ask you a very non-technical question. So we ask this question to most of our speakers. We get interesting answers. The question is, oh, Sunitha, what would you do if you had won $1 million today?
That's a hypothetical question, I can say. But today, okay, so in today, okay, first of all, I will confirm if I really got $1 million. That's the first thing I would do. And after confirmation, maybe in regard with today's scenario, I could maybe do a first investment in a profitable platform, where it can be any platform. It can be in any, say, in any investment platform that you prefer, or cryptocurrency or anything. And I might also do a part of a money for the COVID relief fund, because that's all very the need of the day, I can say. So I would be really happy to donate a part of the amount on for society costs. And then maybe I can also get a private jet for myself. Because $1 million, I can say it's a really huge amount. I can also get a private jet, and instead of booking flight tickets from then, and because as a person I like to travel a lot. So I can get a private jet, and then hire a pilot, and then I can also, or maybe just travel the world. Why not, instead of just paying the tickets in the incognito mode and checking for coupons and checking for lower prices of flight tickets, I can really go into this, I can say. That's it.
That's interesting. When we ask this question to most of our speakers, the most reply we get is, I will quit my job and just relax. But then it was, very smart of you to actually say, first I'll check on if I actually won it and then invest. And it's very sweet of you to actually address the present, COVID situation and, providing a hand to it as well.
Yeah,
That's
that.
That's very sweet of you, Sunita. So the next thing I want to ask you is, what are your hobbies? What do you do at the leisure time?
Okay, so me being in Germany, I'm like I have to take care of myself, which is the first hobby I can say, which is also the need of the day. So for me, I try to split my times for myself. I work and then I do a lot of leisure activities like cooking, and I love badminton. So I play badminton with my friends here, and then cooking, and then here the weather will always be fluctuating, and if it's really really good weather, just go out for a walk. That's it.
Right, a very, very vital three hobbies. Like self-care is the golden, key. I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay, coming back, can you please speak to us about the current projects you're working on?
Okay, so in my company, right, in Germany, so it was not a very big leap for me, because rightly I switched my company from Bayer. I was in Bayer for 8 months, as I mentioned earlier, and then that was not a full time opportunity, but was in part time, like as you guys are doing interns. So it was also an intern for me because I recently graduated, and then now I'm doing a full time opportunity in company called Reply, and it is an IT software consulting company. So as the name itself says, consulting. So you have a lot of clients, and it'll be a lot of agile projects, and you cannot say that you get a project for 8 months, a year, or so. You will have very small projects as well. So currently, until last week, I was working on a project with another client called Infineon. It is also a huge, a top 10 semiconductor company in Germany, I can say. And the project was, what I was working on is more of Hadoop clusters. So there they have a project where they are migrating cloud version 6 to cloud version 7. So I was just part of it because I started my role as a machine learning consultant in the month of April. So it's not too much time for me. It's just 2 months passed by. So until last week I was in that, and also another project called C3. So C3 is a California client, and C3 is to be in a nutshell. It is a software. It's a new software. It's very expensive software, but you don't. It's not so much in the market. But it is only this Shell, the petroleum company called Shell. So Shell, from an IT perspective, they use the C3. So I was working with C3, and it was more of JavaScripts and TypeScripts, and we were building a base data model for them. And my part was more of in data engineering, where and then a lot of relation diagrams and ERD and database and all these stuffs. So these are the two projects that I'm currently working on. Yeah.
Very interesting project. Now we as students, we are getting used to all those words like in concepts like agile and Hadoop clusters and all that you mentioned. Thank you so much for enlightening on all that. Speaking of the work culture, so how different is the work culture in Germany and India, because you have worked on both these countries? So how different is the work culture in here?
A very awesome question, first of all, because it is really good to address this question at the right time. Because okay, so Infosys in India, 2.5 years was literally a pain. I should not use this colloquial word, but I'm using it. So excuse me for that. It's a pain in the ass, I can say. But to be frank, okay, for a start, right from your engineering, right from the bachelor's, it's a really go to. You have to get an experience in industry, and it's a really worth how much ever the more you put the hard work, the more you gain. So of course there's a famous statement called no pain no gain. So I was ready to pitch in. I was there for 2.5 years, and the work culture there at Infosys was like, as you all know, I started my day at 6:30 a.m. because from traveling from city to Chengalpet, where Mahendra city is, it's already 1.5 years for a day, for to and fro. So for example, I start my day at 6 a.m. and I end my day at 9 p.m. So the work culture there, and then here it is very structured. In Germany, it's very structured. You work Monday to Friday. You work very dedicated 8 hours. It's 40 hours per week. You work 8 hours a day, and then nobody will question you. Nobody. Even if you have a deliverable, it's even if you have a priority that time, you can like, take the full guts to go tell it to your colleague that you are so and so, you are so and so, and you have done your part, and you can deliver, because it's like, the work culture is that there's no one to judge you here, there's no one to pull you down here. So it's, but at the same time, we have to put our own hard work, and we have to be very truthful. That's very important. So this Germany work culture is very structured. Nobody's going to question you after 5 p.m, say. And Saturday, Sunday, nobody is going to even ping you or ask you anything. But in India, I really had a very, a very unusual experience. Okay, my team was good, but for my friends, I have heard a lot of people coming and complaining to me, telling that this happened, and which they put their, they took a lot of pressure. So in India, as far as I know, oh, there were like a lot of tensions and a lot of pressure, if not all times, sometimes. And even there were days, to be frank, there were days even I was supporting on Saturday, Sunday there, and with for a production, and I was okay to do it, because it's okay, it's fine. Once or twice or thrice to learn and to support, it's totally fine. But not always, situation doesn't favor you always. And that's when, you will be a bit cranky, and I was a bit cranky and all. And then I thought, but why don't we take the next leap? And I used my 2.5 years of experience of Infosys very wisely, and then I took the next leap, and that's when I came to Germany. And I really appreciate the Germany's work culture for its structured, organization. That's it.
I really appreciate your answer. Very honest and frank, but like most of us are not really aware of all this. Thank you so much for that honest, reply. Like you were saying, you took a next step. You took a big leap. So, can you please share with us about the several processes that are carried out while applying for higher education in Germany? What are the prerequisites when you apply for higher education in Germany?
Okay. So the first thing that any person should do is, like, first you need to ask yourself a question. Why do you need the higher education? And when you ask why, you get the answer automatically. And then you see, so in what domain you want, you will already be in this domain now. You all are engineers. You all are already working, doing intern, doing everything. So you might ask yourself, what domain you want to excel. There's a difference between doing now and excelling in something. So that's when we decide that you take what course. And first prerequisites, I say that you first decide on what domain, and then choose your country. It can be Germany, it can be Canada, it can be UK, it can be Ireland. Choose the country according to your situation. Like, it can be financial situation, or it can be the country situation where you have a lot of boom in this country for this domain, and say you have a lot of opportunities for X domain in Y country, and then you want to choose this country. So you have to basically do a research work by yourself. Else, two things. So first, as I mentioned, which you want to excel in, and second thing is in which country. You got to do a basic groundwork, and then you get your answers. After that is when you choose your universities. So for example, you choose a country, and then you get into the small boxes, and then you choose your universities. After choosing the universities, you will have to first inquire. The most thing that you should do is, you have to find out your seniors. You of course have LinkedIn now. The market is so nice for us, it's like on the plate. But you have to just go do a research work. So you have LinkedIn, you have Facebook. Of course, if you hit the university, you're going to get a couple of people there, and there will be at least one who responds you. So you got to first ask your seniors how was their experience, and how did the program be structured in the university, and then do estimation with all these answers, and with your research work, and with the current scenario. These three you got to combine into one. And to me personally, if you ask, maybe for USA and Canada, it makes sense to go to a consultancy. But to Germany, because I just did it for Germany, I know that I never went to consultancy. You can do it with your own. It is not a rocket science. We all are engineers. So you hit the Google, you get everything, and you just have to go talk to people. And I agree, there are people who don't respond, but there are people who even responds. So you can do this, and then instead of going to consultancy, you can just do your own research and get into it. That's it.
Okay, this is fantastic. You know, as you were saying, I was literally writing it down because I really appreciate the way you told us, you walked us through each step. Personally, for me, it is very informative. Thank you so much for that. And I just have one last question for you, Sunitha. And that question is, what are the do's and don'ts for an ML aspirant?
Okay. Like, okay, like we cannot generalize it as an ML aspirant. So as a ML aspirant, do's and don'ts. Okay, so if you want to be an ML aspirant, the first thing that you should do is that it's not like you really have an experience and then only I can do this. It's not like that. Like for me, I didn't have any experience, but I did it. So the do is that you need to really be confident on yourselves, and you need to actually do, if you're interested in this machine learning and data science, and just know about it, just know, and just do a self estimation if you can do it, and then just play with the open source projects. That is a must do. You can play with an open source if you, in your free time, and if you really are interested to go into this, you can take some open source project and really work on it and just know it. And the don't and the don't part is that you can like it depends. The don't is that you cannot first just take a data set and do whatever you want, because in the production or in the industry, it is not going to be in that manner. You cannot do whatever you want, because at least then, and by that time when you go to an industry, people will expect from the other end, the employee or the employer will expect at least that and you should know what are the don'ts. So the don'ts are that, like, you cannot just take a data set and play with it. You can play with it, of course, but you cannot hit something random. So you just need to previously know the steps in the beginning to what you want to do and what you don't want to do with regards to data set, I can say. And yeah, so on a general note, I think I've conveyed the answer to you. uh
Yeah, that was vivid enough. You very rightly said, like, all of us drown in that fear because we always assume, no, I don't have experience, I don't know much about it, so I shouldn't probably work on it. But you very rightly said, you don't have to know the complete picture of it, just have an idea about it and dive in, right? Thank you so much for that motivation and for those insights. Those were all the questions from me, Sunitha. Now it's time for the public, the audience, to shoot out their questions. So over to the audience. Guys, please make sure you guys stick to one question at a time. You guys can unmute and ask a speaker the question. Please introduce yourself and ask her the question.
Okay, so hi Sunitha, this is Veda. So my question for you is, you had mentioned, Sonia had mentioned that you're an electronics and instrumentation engineer. You had the background of electronics and instrumentation, right?
mhm.
So what made you decide that machine learning was right for you?
Okay, so as I said, my master's degree was in automation and IT. So when I went and did the research, first there were modules inside this degree saying this degree concentrates on these subjects, and inside that I was able to relate to data science, because there were subjects for me with relate to data science, machine learning, and also in addition I had subjects related to my E&I subjects. Automation deals with PLCs, SCADA, and any industrial automation, core automation. So I know all these because in E&I also had some subjects related to PLC, SCADA. So coming to the automation sector, I wanted to do a justice to my bachelor's and to my IT experience of 2.5 years. Henceforth, I chose this degree, automation and IT. Like, I was researching, and then I came to know that this automation and IT really justifies what I want. And after getting into automation and IT is when I broke down the big umbrella into a small umbrella telling machine learning, data science. So I have 4 semesters of program. In 4 semesters, first semester and second semester was like a bit of all the subjects overview, hands-on, and everything. In the third semester, you have an opportunity to choose in what you want to excel in. And for us, we were given to do a case studies. I can choose my own case studies. I can choose 3 case studies, from which 2 I chose from data science and machine learning. So what made me choose is that my first 2 semesters were projects related to machine learning, data science, and that's when I felt very interested. I felt, no, automation is not my cup of tea. I was very sure that when I you will know, you will figure out gradually when you study and when you come to know about it. So after coming here, after meeting people, and after my professor's advice and everything, I figured out what my cup of tea is into an IT, and where the IT stands now is machine learning, data science, and that's what I was taught also, and that's what I wanted also. So why not? And that's when I take a dive into the case studies of excelling in these 2 fields. And I, from 3 out of 3 case studies, I chose 2 from this, and 1 was a basic automation case study. So this was my path. I hope
That's
I
really
answered your question,
interesting.
Veda.
Yeah, you did. Thank you so much.
Hello, and I'm Ishwar. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, hello, Ishwar.
Yeah, and I'm currently doing my bachelor's, and my wish is to do a master's in machine learning. But there are various courses available out there, like masters in statistics, masters in artificial intelligence. Like there are various. Which should I go for? Because basically all of these courses have like the same syllabus. Which should I go for?
So, when you mention masters, you do you mention which country you do you also see the country?
Uh, yeah, I'm just gone through the country like US and Germany.
Okay, like for example, when you say that you want to do machine learning or artificial intelligence, see, like all the 3 are interrelated. It's not like artificial intelligence is a separate domain, or even I was taught of AI, but it was all under the umbrella of machine learning. So you see the modules inside each master's degree course, that they would have already mentioned everything. And apart from that, if you see the modules, you can, as I mentioned earlier, you can ask you can reach out to people and ask how good it is. So it's not, AI and machine learning is not as there's no much of big difference, I can say. But AI for sure, it's also going to be a boom in the future, because AI is like, of course, it's going to be augmented reality in the future, and it's going to be everything else. It's going to be automized and everything. ML is actually going to get saturated, but it's good you take when you have similar subjects, you can take one of it, and you can just ask to people, and then you can opt for the I can say. It all depends upon the scenario and upon the university that you chose.
Okay, and my another doubt is it better to go for a master in statistics or a master in mathematics and upgrading to the machine learning field?
Again, see, statistics, mathematics. So again, here when you mention these both, what are the smaller modules inside master in statistics, inside master in mathematics? I'm sure master in mathematics is applied mathematics. Of course it should be applied mathematics. If it's applied mathematics, only then you come into machine learning. Machine learning is basically applied maths. So basically, you can just see the sub modules inside it. There you will it's all the fancy name that they give. For me, they gave masters in automation in IT. It's very generalized. What is automation? No, everybody knows it's automation, but what it is inside. So if you when you mention master in mathematics, master in statistics, just just make sure that you go deep into it and know what are the sub modules inside that, and then you can decide for yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ishwar and Veda, for the question. Any more questions?
Yeah, Sonia. I have a question.
Yes, Pravina, go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Pravina. Does machine learning algorithm make a decision in real time? It's very useful or not?
Yeah, it does. It is useful because you deal with real time world data. What machine learning, you do something with machine learning is you're gonna train the algorithms. With what you will train, you will train the real time data. You go to the company. You are now working in a company, say Tact Labs, and Tact Labs gives you a data set. Tact Labs gives you data set in the sense they are giving their own real world data set. So you are doing some prediction, you're doing some algorithm with it, and you're interpreting the results. It is going to be useful. That's how people grow their business. You can simply take any industry. You can simply take Vodafone, take Airtel. You fetch all the customer call center data, and you do some machine learning algorithms in it. You get some results, and the results are not only with ML. You are growing the business. You are telling that this is what this is going to happen. You're forecasting something. You're predicting something. You're detecting something, and you're growing the business. So of course, it is a useful in real time, I can say.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yes,
Uh,
Sonia.
Yes, Ishita, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Sunitha.
Hi.
So, like, you're currently working in Germany. It's a pretty astounding country. I just have one question. It's pretty non-technical, but like, were there any special prerequisites of like you getting into Germany, or like, was it purely based on your work experience, or did you do anything else other than that?
Okay, it's a good question, by the way. Here, when I did all this research and when I was applying to multiple universities, I came to know that, right, the grade that we get in our bachelor's, we all know how we get our university grades. There's no doubt in that. But still, according to Germany, this matters. The grade, the average total final grade of all the 40 subjects that we learn matters to them, and as well as also with respect to Germany, German language, for them, they are really crazy of their language. They never give up on their language, I can say. So it is a benefit, right, if you have a basic German skills to get into Germany. If not, even if you don't have, it's actually fine, because why I'm saying is fine is you choose a course, and you choose a course in English. I'm pretty sure we won't choose a course in German. And there are courses in German, there are courses in English, the meaning of instructions. So when you choose a course in English, there will be a clear disclaimer telling that, right, the course is taught in English, and it's okay, or they'll be like, it is okay to have the candidate has a basic knowledge or not. This statement is a highlighting when you get into Germany for them. So, but on a safer side, to be on a safe side and to not get into any trouble, and for your survival, it's better to get a German basic skills. So the prerequisite is your grade point matters here, and your German language matters here. Apart from that, work experience, you be a fresher, you be a work experience candidate, it doesn't matter. Because in my course, I have seen people who were straight out of bachelor's, who has 10 years of experience. You will not believe me. My own batchmate has 10 years of experience, and she came into my course. So it doesn't matter. And I also know a person who finished their bachelor's from India and came to Germany, and in my batch. So the main prerequisites are German language and grade point. And other than that, interns or anything is a plus for you, but I can't say it's a mandatory. Yeah.
Right, I guess I gotta start taking German lessons then. Thanks, Sunitha. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Ishita, for that question. Thank you, everyone, for that question, because it's a very time-bound session. We are ending the public questions here. Sunitha, before we wind up, can you tell us how do you say hello in Germany? Maybe I can learn some some
Hello
German.
in Germany is hello only, but the spelling
It's
differs.
hello only.
The spelling
Okay.
differs. It's HALLO. That's it.
All right. So how to greet in Germany? Something in Germany. Maybe I'll learn a little German today.
Okay. So if you want to say welcome, you just say willkommen. Willkommen. Its spelling is different, and willkommen means welcome. And if you say good morning, greetings you mentioned. So if you want to say good morning, you say guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Ah.
Thank you so much. All right, coming back, thank you so much, Sunitha, for taking time and joining us today. Thank you so much for accepting Featurepreneurs' request for the live AMA. Thank you for all those, inspiring words, insights, and those, vital pieces of information. It was indeed personally for me as well as I'm sure for all those audience who have joined us today. It was indeed a very vital and informative session. Once again, on behalf of Featurepreneur, I express my sincere gratitude to you for joining us today. Thank you so much, Sunitha.
Thank you so much, Sonia. And I also would like to mention here that it was a pleasure sharing my experience, because, of course, you are all going to be the future engineers, and it's always good to create awareness. The troubles or the struggles I went through, who can be overcome with just by sharing the knowledge. So I feel glad to present this session, and I just wish you all wish you all a very best wishes and very all the best. And you just need to not worry, and things will fall in place whenever you want. Yeah.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you, Sunitha. Thank you for joining us. We'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you all.
All right, now it's time to know the random winner for today's session. Let's spin the wheel to know the random winner. Let's see who's going to be that lucky person. And the random winner is Sam. Congratulations, Sam.
Thank you, Sonia.
So, Sam, a very lucky day for you, I have to say. But then
Yeah,
the question for you from me is, how is today's live AMA for you?
yeah, it was very informative. The questions which you asked, the participants asked, and her way of explaining the questions, it was so lively. So I enjoyed the session more.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm glad you had a very informative session today. Now it's
Yeah,
time
thank
to award the two people for shooting out their best questions. And this week's live AMA's best question winners are Veda, Shankar, and Ishita. Congratulations, both of you. Let me start off with Veda. Congratulations, Veda.
Yeah. Thank you, Sonia.
You asked a very interesting question. So, did you get all your doubts cleared through this session? How did this session help you?
Yeah, definitely. I've actually spoken with Sunitha before, and she's a really sweet and down to earth person. So yeah, and it was really interesting knowing so much about her background, and like how we can improve on how we can decide on what we want, and everything. So yeah.
That's very true and very kind of you to mention about her as well. Congratulations on the event, Veda, and keep participating in our live event.
Thank you.
Thank you. Over to Ishita. Congratulations, Ishita.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
How is today's AMA for you?
I mean, it was pretty informative. I mean, the things that she shared were like in depth, and I feel like I got to know a lot more about her and her background and how she, started to pursue machine learning, and yeah, and how she got into Germany in the first place. So, yeah.
Yes, very true. Very, very insightful session for me as well. Thank you so much and congratulations on the win.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. I really hope and I'm sure that all of you had a very inspiring and informative session. Keep joining Featurepreneur Presents a live AMA, and I'm pretty sure this forum would be really informative for you, and you'll get to know more about data science and ML from the great speakers. Thank you for joining us today, and congratulations to all the winners. Thank you, guys.